So there have been meetings with both Supervisor Flaherty, myself, Mayor Byerts, and Deputy Mayor Jerry Ippolito to discuss the various aspects of regionalization, because as boards, we've all been involved in the overall presentations by the engineers. What started with the town looking to upgrade the wastewater treatment plant was phase 1, phase 2. And we had the engineering firm of Barton and LaJudas looking at that and doing the estimates. We have moved forward with phase 1. And coincidentally, perhaps, I'm not sure, but the village was moving along a parallel path of spending a lot of money on upgrades for their wastewater treatment plant. And they had Labella engineers working on that. And at some point, everyone thought, well, maybe it would make sense for us to at least study and consider a regional plant, because there are 4 or 5 wastewater treatment plants in Monroe County. 2 of them are in Webster, within 5 miles of each other, if that. And both municipalities are looking at spending quite a bit of money on these upgrades. The plants are such that the village treats their own wastewater, but ultimately sends it to the town for final chlorination. And we are responsible for the speedies permit, for all of the specifications of the water that goes out into the lake at the end of the process. So any hiccup along the way can result in some very hefty fines, daily hefty fines, until that is remedied. But I digress. So when the thought of possible regionalization came about, the village agreed with the town, the 2 boards agreed to fund additional study looking at possibly what would the regionalization be. And there were a lot of things that had to be balanced out, because the village is going with an asset management plan where they're going to fix things over 10 years. And we were looking at just phase 1 and phase 2. So Barton and LaJudas did the joint study along with the engineers at Labella. They did present something, at least 1.5 years or 2 years ago, I believe, and we were all able to view that. And then it languished. The village has been rather reluctant to move forward because it's a big decision for them. And ultimately, this is a village board vote. We don't vote on it at all. They would be voting to go regional and give up their wastewater treatment plant. So they were going to vote, they did not. And we have finished phase 1. We need to move forward with planning for phase 2. Phase 2 could look a little bit different if it went regional. There's also the opportunity for much higher grant monies that would be available for a regional approach, because the EPA and all the groups that are interested in clean water seemed to be encouraging regional approaches to this. So in an effort to move these talks forward and have the village just come to a vote, whatever it is, we know what we need to do at our plant, but we need them to make a decision. So back in, when did we start meeting? Was it before COVID or just after?
Well, it's
Everything is either
it was Martin Luther King Day. It was January 20th.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was way before.
Okay, so that's when we had our first meeting. And as I said, the 4 of us met with the engineers. No, we met just the 4 of us to say, look, we need to have a decision made here. And we had 2 or 3 subsequent meetings with the engineers to look at the numbers again and make sure that everybody understood them. The village agreed to move forward with a vote, and then COVID hit. Would that be appropriate?
Yes.
That got sidelined a little bit and went off the rails, and of course they couldn't vote because we weren't all meeting like we were supposed to. But we continued those discussions with the engineers to the point where we really feel the four of us, both boards, feel it's appropriate that we put out the information for the public to see before the village takes a vote on this. And it was determined that the best way to notify everyone who is going to be primarily affected by this, it's the village user, that a card should go out to every user in the village, notifying them of this meeting that's going to be held. It's also important for our town residents to know that as well. It wasn't really feasible for us to send a card to every town user, so we have been doing our level best to put that on all the media, all of the ways we can reach, probably not the dirty dozen, but a lot of them, and let people know that this Zoom meeting is happening on August 19th. Thank you. It's going to be held at 7 o'clock. And everyone who wants more information on it can tune in. The engineers, both those from Labella and those from Barton and LaJudas, will be presenting a slide presentation, informational. There will be options available for questions to be submitted to those who are on the Zoom call or the Zoom meeting. The Zoom meeting can hold 500 people. I hope we have more than 500. Those who don't RSVP in time to get their names in and registered on this Zoom meeting will be allowed to see it live streamed on Facebook. However, there won't be opportunity for comment there.
Is it Facebook or YouTube?
I think it's YouTube.
I think it was Facebook.
I mean, it's YouTube.
Oh, somebody telling us?
Hello?
The information is in the
Postcard.
the post on it. It's on the postcard, yes.
Postcards went out when?
Did they go out middle of this week?
I wish Karen would peek her head out, because I think
Karen, can you help
the
us?
latest they'll hit a,
There she comes. Is it YouTube or is it Facebook first? YouTube, I'm sorry, I misspoke. And do you know when the cards went out? Okay. Didn't mean to put you on the spot with you. Okay. I think we were hoping to get them out by the weekend. Yeah.
Thanks, Karen.
So there have been no decisions made. And that's where we stand.